Hello friends, today we are going to discuss data analysis using R software. I am Manoj Patil, Department of Statistics, School of Mathematical Sciences, Kavaitre Bhainabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon. Okay, let's move. Here is a brief overview of my presentation. Firstly, we will have some introduction related with the R software, then data types used in R, graphical representations in R, for example, histogram, pie chart, scatter plot, bar plot, okay, and then a brief introduction to that descriptive statistics functions available in R, and then testing of hypothesis related with parametric tests, some parametric tests which include t-test and proportion test, one-way ANOVA, two-way ANOVA are there. And in non-parametric test, we are going to discuss sign test, Kruskal-Wallis test, Wilcoxon test, likewise, and a simple linear regression model. Okay, let's move. What is R? R was initially written by Ross and Robert. That's why they have used R Studio. Okay, at the Department of Statistics of University of Auckland, New Zealand, in 1993. Okay, R is an integrated suite for facilities for data manipulation, calculation, and graphical display. R software has an effective data handling and storage facilities. It has operators for calculation of arrays, vectors, matrices. Okay, a large and coherent and integrated collection of intermediate tools for various data analysis tools. It has good graphical facilities for the data analysis. It has conditionals, loops, if else, while, for, etc. Functions, some built-in functions. Also, we can define user-defined functions, recursive functions. It has input and output facilities. Okay. How to obtain and install R? So basically it is a free software. It is freeware. You can download it from this link. Okay. The latest version available of R is 4.00. Okay. And this is the logo for R, base R. Okay. What we are going to use is actually RStudio, because RStudio is a IDE for R software. Okay. What is IDE? IDE is Integrated Development Environment. So instead of using base R, we are going to use RStudio. Okay, and the latest version available for the RStudio is R 1.2.504. Okay, let's go for this link. Okay, we will get this website RCRAN. So that CRAN R project. So here CRAN represent for the comprehensive R archive network. Okay, here are repositories where we can download R. Okay, let's download this. Download R 4.00 for Windows. Okay, depending on the speed of your computer, it will take some time. You can save it here, or directly you can run it from here. Okay, it's quite large file, 83.5 MB. It will take some time. As I have already downloaded it, I will use that exe file here. Okay, installation of R is not that difficult. We just have to double click and go for that next, and the address where you want to store that extracted files. Select the language to use. Obviously it's English. Okay, next. As I have already downloaded it, so I will not go further. You can use it here. Okay, I will cancel that installation. Let's move for the RStudio. Let me show. So this is the website for RStudio. Okay, as you can see here, it is a open source and an enterprise ready professional software for data science. You can download RStudio from here, but let's visit this website first. Introducing RStudio. There is a professional version also available here. RServer Pro here. RStudio Package Manager is there. Here are some clients which are using R software. You can observe here eBay or NASA, Samsung. They are using Accenture. They are using RStudio and even Walmart. Okay. Here are some products related with RStudio Desktop which we are going to use. RStudio Desktop, RStudio Server is there. Shiny servers are interactive facilities are there if we want to develop a software. So Shiny server is there. Collection of functions and all modules are there in packages. So here are some R packages. Okay. I think we should download it from here only. Download RStudio. So it opens this link. Okay. Download RStudio. Choose your versions. They have different version for RStudio, RStudio Desktop, open source license, commercial license. Okay. We are going to use this RStudio Desktop open source. Okay. Then again, RStudio Desktop, the latest version is 1.2.5042. It's giving this RStudio for Windows. As my OS is Windows, it will automatically detect my OS and will provide the link here. But if you are using another window, that is Ubuntu or Linux, whatever, for that case you can go ahead and download the required link. Okay, I will go for download RStudio for Windows. Okay, you can download this RStudio as I have already downloaded it. It's quite large, 150 MB. It will take some time depending on your network connection. So I'm not going to use that. I will go ahead. RStudio 1.2.5042. I will double click here and again using that next will install that RStudio here. Welcome to RStudio setup. Go ahead next. Destination folder. Okay, the space required is quite large. I will go ahead RStudio start menu folder. It will install RStudio. We just have to follow the instructions by clicking next. Okay. So this is the window of that R software. You can see here R version is 4.0.00. It is called as a R console. Here we can write commands. This is the script editor where we can write our commands, save them. We can rerun it from here only. Okay. I think we should move directly toward the software. search it. I have to search it here. R. You can observe it. R console. The version is 4.00. This is the prompt. Okay. New script. You can write a script here. We can store our commands here. If we want to go for only one line, for example 1 plus 2, you can write it here. Okay. And if we want to store more than 2-3 lines, y is equal to some 3 and then x plus y is equal to, then we can use this script editor. Select it, right click it, run line selection. By using, we can use Control R. It will run here. Okay. We can save this script by file, save. Okay. Then the file can be saved with an extension of .r. Okay. My first story. Okay. That's it. This is the R software. Okay. We are not going to use this software, though we will use RStudio for this. This is the window for RStudio. As we all know that RStudio is IDE for R software, Integrated Development Environment. In this window, I think we should go directly for the software again. Where is RStudio? Yeah, here is RStudio. We will start that RStudio and we will discuss about the different windows available in the RStudios. Okay, in RStudios, as we have seen in R, here is the script editor. This is the script editor, and it is console. Few additional windows are there, in which first one is environment. In this environment, we can observe different variables which we have stored in console, obtained in console. Okay. In history, we can, here we got the windows for RStudio. It's the console, here terminal, jobs. We are going to work only on console. Here is the environment. Though there is environment is empty, we can observe that if we stored x is equal to 2, then the variable x is variable x is created, value is 2. Likewise, and we can observe here are some commands I have used previously. You can clear your history from this tab. Are you sure you want to clear the history? Yes, I want to clear all the history. I will again go for x is equal to 2.3. Okay, you can observe here whatever command we are using here, we can find it here in history. Okay, another window is here, files, whatever folder we are working on. For example, I am working on folder, set as a working directory. Go to working directory, show folder in new window. Go to working directory. What is working directory? We haven't set any working directory here. So to set new working directory, set as a working directory, but it sets working directory same. So we have to choose working directory, our working directory. So I'm going to work on this data analysis using R. I will copy this part, copy this address and set WD, set working directory, bracket. It is showing some error. I think it is not necessary actually. So, but for my Okay, now we can go to working directory. You can observe here whatever we have done in that folder. Now we are in that folder. Okay, 1 2 3 4 R file, 2 exe and 1 PDF. You can observe it here, 1 PDF, 4 R files and 2 exe files. Okay, let's go for that first program. Okay, x is equal to 2.3, y is equal to, we have saved that in .r. Okay, to clear the console we can use Control L. It will clear the console. Okay, but you can observe that though I have cleared that console in variable. Okay, let's run this. To run that part, it's quite easy. You can use directly as a source. It will run all the commands written in the R program. Okay, or else, as we have done in R, we can also use that thing here, select that part and use run. It will run the commands here. Okay, or instead of using that run, you can use control plus enter. You can observe the tooltip there. Okay, here are the commands. Else, if you want to use only z is equal to 3, only one line, so if you press control plus enter, it will run only z is equal to 3, that single line. Okay, so either you can use source, you can use selecting, or just control enter will be fine. Okay, let's find what it has stored. Z is equal to 3. Here are 3 variables, z is equal to y is equal to x, y and z. You can observe the history, whatever we have done previously here. Okay, okay, let's move again to the presentation. We have already discussed that windows related with the RStudio. Okay, prompts. When R is waiting for us to tell it what to do, it begins with the line less than sign. We have already seen that prompts even in R and in RStudio. Okay, if we give it incomplete command and it cannot finish the task requested, it will provide a plus sign here. Okay, that is, it is waiting for our command to complete it. Okay, and to get out of R, we have to use the command q:. Commands can be put anywhere starting with hash mark. Comments can be put anywhere starting with hash mark. Everything to the end of the line is comment. Okay, let's move again to our RStudio. Okay, now let's see. You can observe it here. It is a prompt. We have already used that x is equal to 2 or a is equal to 3 likewise. Okay, now what if we have kept the command incomplete? For example, 1 plus 2 times in bracket, I will go for that, x plus, or let's take minus, and I kept that incomplete and pressed enter. You can observe plus sign here. Here you can observe plus sign. So it's suggesting us that your command is incomplete. Complete it first. I will use that y, x minus y, and go ahead. Okay, let's see what it has stored. Is it correct? I will check it. 1 plus 2 times multiply that x minus y. Okay, so that plus sign will show us that our command is incomplete. Okay, now I am not going to use that q because it will okay, let's see. The document first program has been unsaved changes. Do you want to save the changes? Yes. Okay, and then it will quit our R. Before ending this, save workspace image, that this R data, it will be stored in .r extension. So it's again asking yes or no. I will put it as yes. So we are again here in a presentation. We can use R as a calculator. Okay. For example, we have already used that 1 plus 2 thing. Okay. We can go for 1 plus 2, square root of 4. SQRT is a function, mathematical function available in R. We can find absolute value by using ABS command. We can use divide, subtraction, multiplication, addition, raise to power, multiply, raise to power of. We can use parenthesis here, bracket, to understand what we are trying to compute. The order of doing arithmetic operation is same as that PESMA, whatever we have used in mathematics. Okay. Assignment to the variables is quite easy. We can go for equal to sign, or we can use less than and minus sign, or less than and equal to sign. Okay. Arrow like symbol. Okay. When you want to know what is in the variable, simply ask by typing the variable name. For example, now instead of using x is equal to 3.2, we can go for x less than minus, that arrow 3.2. This value moves to the variable name x. Okay, and to check what x is showing, we can go ahead and print only x and go for 3.2. Okay, y is equal to, we can also use equal to sign. We can store a computation under new variable name. For example, whatever we have done in that demo part, that z is equal to 2 times x. Okay, y is equal to 2 times x. And again, if you don't want to go ahead in a new line and just wanted to print that command in same line, you can go ahead, y is equal to twice x, colon will ask R that my command is completed. You can go for the new line, and here is a new line. Okay, y is equal to 6.4, 3.2 multiplied by 2, 6.4. We can also change the current value in the old variable. For example, this is the new x and old x. Old x plus 2 will be stored in new x. 3.2 plus 2 is equal to, so now new x value is equal to 5.2. Okay, so we are using x, y, z only. These are the variables. You can call it as objects of R. Okay, a variable provides us the name storage that our programs can manipulate. A variable in R can store vector, okay, list, group of vectors, or combination of many R objects. A valid variable name consists of letters, numbers. Up to now we just have used x, y, z. That means we have just used letters. So we can use letters as well as numbers, and we can also use for dot. We can go for underline character. So we don't have that special character of at or dollar things. Okay, we just have to use letter, numbers, dot, and underline characters. Let's see, there are some examples. Variable where underscore, that is underline character, name, and the number 2 and the dot, it is valid name. Here you can observe that they have used the percentage sign, so it is not the variable valid variable name. To start with the number, you can use number in the variable name but cannot start with number, so it is invalid. You can start with dot. Dot may be in the start or in the middle, it will not create any, or in the end, it will not create any error, so it's valid. But if you are using dot and number, then it's invalid. So you can't start with number, or you can't start with dot and number. Okay, you can't start with underscore. Okay, these are the valid and these are the invalid. Okay, then again there are certain variables or certain reserved symbols for variable names. You can't use that C, Q, T. C is for the combine and concatenate purpose. This is the command useful for R. We are going to use it many times. Q, this is for the quitting R, transpose, and all C, D, F, I, T, all are used for many commands in R. Okay, so you can't use these variable names. You should create a variable name that shows the meaning of what is computed. You may use a period, that is dot, to extend its description. For example, if you want to calculate the mean of a sample, then you can go ahead and plot, you can put that name mean dot sample, okay, or sample dot mean, whatever. But do not begin a variable name with a period or a number. Variable names are case sensitive. Mean dot height. Oh, they have used the same. Mean dot height, sum dot amount, or amount dot sum, whatever you prefer. Salary dot a. As the cases are as the R is case sensitive, salary dot small a and salary dot capital A are two different variables. Remember that thing. Okay. So to observe the data types, what are the data types? We will see in the next slide also. Okay, what are the data types of the variables? Finding a number of variables, we can go ahead, use that command ls, which lists the variables available in the environment. Deleting the variables, that is removing the variable. For that we can go ahead and use rm command. Okay, remove, so rm. Okay. Class, if the variable x is already stored, you can ask R, what is the data type of x? Use that command class. It will show numeric. Print ls all, the number of variables. Suppose there are only two variables, x and y. So it will print ls. Command will show us the list of variables available in the environment. To remove, suppose we want to remove y variable, so we have to use rm bracket y, and if then we ask him what is y, then it will show that error, there is an error, object y cannot be found. Okay. Data types. What are data types? We have used the previous command class and ls and rm. I'm going to show it again after that data types commands. Okay. Data types. Variables are reserved memory locations. What are variables? Variables are just reserved memory location to store the values for. For example, we have used that x is equal to 2.3. Then x is the variable, x is the reserved memory location. And what is value? That 3.2 or 2.3, that is the value. So we are going to store 2.3, this value, in the memory of that computer, and that memory location we are going to name it as x. Okay. Values may be boolean type, that is true or false, yes or no, this type. Okay. Another one is integer. As we all know that integers are -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. These are all integers. Next part is, instead of using integers, many times we have to go for 2.3, 3.2, 3333. Likewise, it is called as float, or in our language we treat as a numeric part. Okay. Another thing is complex, that is 2 plus I or 2 plus 3i. These are the complex numbers. And character, A, B, C, D, these are the characters. For example, Manoj, Rahul, These are the character or sequence of characters or strings. These are the main 5 atomic type of variables, data types of variables available in R. Now using that 5 data types, we can go ahead and create a vector. What is vector? Vector is collection of the atomic variables. For example, we may have a vector of Boolean data type, vector of integer, vector of numeric or float. Likewise, matrix is a two-dimensional array. Mainly in mathematics, we use this matrix many times. So mainly matrices of Boolean, integer or float type. Okay. Array uh, array is a generalization of, I will say that array is a generalization of matrix type. Okay. List is again a collection of these 5 data types, but it is different from vector, as vector is collection of data types but with single data type. For example, if vector has n variables inside, then all n variables are Boolean type, integer type, or float type, or complex, or character. Okay. So vector has data type only Boolean, but it is not the case with the list. You can create a list. First character is with Boolean, second character is with integer, third is again with integer, fourth with numeric. It will not create any difference. It is just a collection of variables only. Okay. Data frame. I will say that data frame is a generalization of matrix. It is also two-dimensional, but as vector has same data type for all variables, matrix also has same data type for all values inside that matrix. It is not the case with data frame, but for the column case, it has rows and columns. For the column case, they have same data type in a column. Okay.
Moving towards the next part, vector. So in a previous slide we have already seen that vector is the combination of that numbers, maybe numbers, float, numeric, or Boolean data type, strings, or the complex numbers. Okay, here we have shown R code for storing the vector x. Okay, vector x has 5 elements: 1, 6, 4, 10 and -2. We have used the concatenate C command for this. So x less than or minus sign, so we can use less than minus sign or equal to, or we can use a sign command where x is a variable and the value of the variable is stored here, is given here. We can also use C16410 -2 and the reverse arrow, which this value will be stored in variable x. Likewise, okay. uh, as you can see, hash is used for the command purpose. Okay, comment purpose. Okay, as we already discussed, vector is the combination of the elements of similar type. So we can store even strings, or we call it as character here. Manoj, Rahul and Nisha are 3 names. These can be stored in the vector in x. You can also use 1.2, 2.3, 3.4 likewise as a float or numeric type of variables can be stored in a vector. Z is equal to C 2 plus 3i 1 plus 2i. These are the complex numbers, 3 complex numbers stored in a vector Z. Okay, and we can also use that Boolean data type true or false. Okay, generating regular sequence. Before generating a regular sequence, we should uh, have quick demo in R. These are the variables. Let me check whether all that variables. How many variables are there? So 1 2 3 4 5 variables are there. I will clear the console. List is equal to ls and bracket. It will clear my variables. In environment, uh, you can see that environment is empty now. Control L, all variables are cleared now. X is equal to c 1 comma 2 comma 3. I will go for 1.2 2.6 and 3.5 likewise. Okay, so the variable stored here, the vector stored here is x, and its data type is numeric. Okay, by using class command, obviously you can see what is the class. Okay, and go for y, c 2 plus 3i comma 1 plus 4i. Okay, it is of type complex number, so the class y is equal to complex. Okay, we can also go for strings. Let's see, that's it. That is the vector of strings. What happens when we go for some numbers are strings, some numbers are integers, or let me put that 2.3 like this? What happens? Okay, observe the change here. When we have written x, it's showing as 3.5, and here 2.3 gets converted into string. If we get class of z, it shows character. So even here 2.3 is a number. It is stored in a vector where at least one is character, so every element in the vector gets converted into the character type. Okay, these are the cases. Suppose we want to check whether x is every element in x is less than 2 or not. So x less than 2, then here the vector, here is a vector where 1.2 is less than 2, therefore it's showing true. For 2.6 it's false, 3.5 it's false, as the x element in x is not less than 1. So here is the vector of boolean data type. Okay, okay, generating real sequences. So we have many options to generate sequence. Okay, sequences are, I will say that it's subset of that vector. Okay, um, to generate regular or reverse sequence, we have to use colon. Oh, that's simple. 1 to 5 will generate 1 2 3 4 5 sequence. Okay, 5 to 1, okay, we can use reverse sequence also by using the colon symbol. 5 to 1 will be generated. Okay, but what if I want to generate sequence of odd numbers or sequence of even numbers where the difference between the numbers is greater than 1? In that case I can't use colon, so I will use that sequence function, seq. The sequence function, you can observe here, it is it has argument from equal to, so we have to submit. So we have to submit from, that is the starting point, that is 1 up to 2. Okay, and with the difference, so by, so it will generate starting from 1, 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 2 5, 5 plus 2 7, 7 plus 9, 7 plus 2 9, 9 plus 2 11. But as we have to generate only sequence up to 10, it's stopped. Okay, so we have the sequence 1 3 5 7 9 here. So every time it is not necessary to submit from and to, you can just provide -2 2 plus 2 from and to. Okay, it will automatically generate -2 to 5. For example, in this case we will use sequence 1 comma 5. It will generate 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, we can also provide, there is no necessity of submission of 10, that is 2. We can also use length. Okay, here starting point is given, difference is given, and length is given. So it will calculate up to 5 number of elements are there in the vector, starting from 0 0.2 0.4 0.6 and 0.8. So these are the 5 element, 1 2 3 4 5. It will stop. Okay, there is another special type of sequence can be generated by replicating an object in various ways. Okay, suppose we have a vector of element c is equal to 1 2 3. Okay, we can replicate x 2 times. So the whole vector is replicated 2 times. So we have 6 element in the new vector, 1 2 3 and 1 2 3 likewise. Okay, we can also repeat each element of the sequence, each is equal to 2, will generate 1 1 2 2 and 3 3 likewise. Okay, we can also use times and each time simultaneously. Observe this, repeat x times is equal to 2 and each is equal to 2. So it will calculate or generate a sequence each with element 2 times, and whole sequence 1 1 2 2 and 3 3 2 times here. Okay, these are the regular sequences we can generate in RStudio or R software. Okay, let's go for the demo. We already have our x sequence here. I will just repeat x and go for times is equal to, suppose 3 times. It will generate sequence 3 times, 1 2 1 1.2 2.6 3.5 1.2 2.6 and 3 times. Okay, similarly if you go for each element 2 times, it will generate the sequence. Okay, and times is equal to again 3, it will generate whole sequence here. Okay, go for that sequence, start from 1 2 up to 3 comma with the difference of 2. Let's see what it creates actually. Sorry, 1 to, we should go for 1 to 30. Okay, what if we want even numbers? So this is the case. Okay, what if I just want 10 numbers here? So I will put length is equal to 10 and by is equal to 2. It will create 10 numbers, 1 2 3 5 and 1 2 3 4 5, that's 10. It will create vector of length 10. So that's it. Let's move for the next part, indexing. The elements in the vector are indexed, indicating which is the first element. Okay, here you can observe, here is the index of the element here in the vector. Okay, but only first index value is printed. If the vector is too long, now here 1 to 20 is not too long, but if it is 1 to 400 or 300 or 30 35 likewise, in that case uh, it does not print the index, it does print the index of first element printed in each line. I think I should go for, suppose we have a sequence of x is equal to 1 colon 50. Okay, we have to print it. X is equal to 1 to 50, x is equal to 1. So observe this index of this first element is 1. So in square bracket they have given the index here. For 22 index is given, for 43 index is given. So only the first element its index is given in the console. Okay, but what if I just wanted to use that fifth element? So by using that square bracket we can extract the values from that vector. Okay, I think I have mentioned it in the next part. One can assess the particular value, which we have already done it. So x square bracket 3, it gives 3, value 3. We can also use colon. So we can slice some part from that 2 to up to 5 part will be sliced by using that square bracket and colon thing. Okay, what if I want first element, third element and eighth element? We can use x square bracket c1 2 3 8 whatever. So index vector, so that 1 3 8 is actually index vector, and we are extracting the values, particular values from that vector by using that index vector. Okay, okay, we can also go for that minus thing. What it actually does, it will remove 1 to 15 elements, 1 to 15 elements, and starting from 16 to remaining 20 elements will be printed in the next slide. So minus sign will actually delete the elements, in that particular index, and will stored in now next variable. Okay, we can check the demo if we want. 6 to 9, I just gave x is equal to 1 to 50, so that whenever I am writing here x is equal to 6 to 9, I should get the numbers and I should verify that number. So I have used x is equal to 1 to 50. Otherwise I will take any sequence. Okay, but to verify it is easy for me. Okay, I think just delete that, minus 1 to 5 thing. I think I should go for 1 to 5. So number started from 6, index is 1. So that's it, 1 to 5 is deleted. Okay, moving to next part, that's matrices. Matrices are generalization or extension of that vectors. Okay, we can use R matrices containing numeric, not necessarily only numeric, but in mathematics we mostly prefer numeric elements. Okay, here it is not necessary to have numeric elements to be used. Okay, a matrix is created using matrix function. We need data, we need number of rows, number of columns, whether data is entered by row or by column. So true or false may be used there. And dimension names, of course these dimension name must be the character or string type. Okay, let's move, let's take an example. Take this 1 to 12 elements. So that 1 to 12 will actually generate 12 numbers. Now we have to arrange the 12 numbers in the matrix form. So we are using matrix, data is in a D, n row. So if there are 12 elements and number of row is equal to 3, then obviously number of columns is equal to 4. So no need to mention it in the command. R will understand it directly. Moving towards by row or by column, whatever it is, by default it will take it. Dimension names, I will go for number of rows. Number of rows are 3, so I will put that XYZ as the labels for rows, and ABCD for the labels for the columns. Okay, it will be the output likewise. Okay, so from this you can observe that we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 10 11 and 12 numbers, and if we have not given by row, it actually takes by row is equal to false and enters that 1 to 12 numbers, and by column. Okay, moving towards R, let's put, instead of using that, I will go for control L, D, put that D, 1 to up to 6, 1 to 6, okay, put that matrix bracket D, number of rows, we can take number of rows as 2, so the number of columns will be, obviously number of columns will be 3. Observe this, we got matrix. Okay, no need to mention that column names and row names. Okay, but if we wanted to put that dimension names here, we can put, obviously dimension names is equal to, here we have to use that list thing, and first row should be row names, put that row names is equal to A and colon B. Okay, comma list, again we have 3 columns, so we should use X, Y and Z. That's it, it will create a matrix. Okay, what if I wanted to access elements of this matrix? Okay, let's store this matrix in small m. Okay, now to access first row, first column, it will show 1. What if I have returned column number? It will actually generate, sorry, this is the first row and we haven't mentioned column, so it will take all rows here. Okay, similarly we can go for comma 2, it will print 3 and 4, so 3 and 4 likewise. Okay, what if I wanted to take transpose of this T matrix? So I will go for function T and slash n. So here is the original matrix, you can observe it from here. XYZ are column names, now XYZ are row names here. Okay, so that is the case. If we wanted to find out uh, what actually matrix function is doing, we can take help by using question mark. Here we will get that help in a matrix. Matrix create matrix from the given set of values. As dot matrix will attempt to turn the arguments into whether the matrix it is matrix or not. Okay, here you can observe n row and n column, by row, false by default. We have discussed it, but if there is a function, there is a help available here, you can go ahead and find out what matrices can do actually. Okay, moving towards, again, now as there is little bit of problem in vector and matrices. Vector matrices stores only the values, elements of similar data type. Okay, But many times what happens whenever we are dealing with the suppose we are dealing with the number students, and their internal or external marks and their grades. So in that case, we may need, suppose there are 30 uh, students are there. So for the 30 now students, we have their roll number, we have their names, we have their surnames, we have their internal marks, we have external marks, internal plus external total marks, and grades depending on the total. So to create such a table, okay, we have to use data frame. Okay, a data frame is actually the table or a two-dimensional array-like structure in which each column contains the value of one variable. For example, one column contains marks, one column contains name, one column contains grades, likewise, and each row contains one set of values. Each row represents student, one student. Okay, following are the characteristics of data frame. The column names should be non-empty, so we have to put all columns should be named. Okay, that is not the case in the matrices. Okay, row names should be unique, student must be unique. Okay, the data stored in the data frame can be numeric, factor, or character type, whatever. So there is no restriction. Each column should contain same number of data items. Each column should contain same number of data items. Okay, that is also the case for the matrices. Here is the R code. Look, that R code is not that complicated. We just have to use data.frame command. Okay, an ID. Suppose this is the small company data. They have 3 employee, Nita, Ria, and Pooja. uh, First column is ID equal to 101, 102, and 103 are their IDs. Their names Nita, Ria, and Pooja, and their salaries maybe of per day or like something like that. Okay, and that then we can print employee dot data. Here is the output. You can observe it. It is as similar as matrix, but in matrix we can't store Ria, Riha, or Pooja thing. We have to get all elements same data type in matrix. That is not the case for data frame. Let's take an example before moving towards the data frame. Let's check data dot frame, enter. Show me the help of data frame. The data frame actually function data frame creates data frame, tightly coupled collection of variables which we have already discussed. We can give row names, row dot names. Okay, and other arguments. You can go through all the other arguments if you want. They also provide some examples related with the data frame command. We will go ahead. We just have to put the data df. I will use df variable and data dot frame bracket. Okay, put that id thing. Actually that is not necessary now. We will go ahead. Id is equal to 1 2 3. There are 3 IDs. Put that names variable in the column. Employee dot name. Okay, see, I will not put all the names there. I will just go ahead A B and see these are the names of that employees. Okay, and their working hours. Maybe suppose 8, 6, 4, likewise. Okay, now we can create a data dot frame bracket id, this is the column, employee dot name and hours. That is the case. These are the column names. You can also provide row names. That is not the case. Row dot names command will be useful for that. Okay. Operators. Before moving to operators, I just have to go for that array thing. We have seen x. Is there m still here? Yes, we have that. So we have that m vector of matrix. Sorry, we have that m, that is the matrix. What if the case I just wanted an array? I just wanted an array with more than 2 dimensions. Suppose there is 3-dimensional array. In that case, we can go for the array case. Okay, using array is not that complicated. We just have to go for array, enter, find. The syntax for array is equal to data is equal to 3 dimension, that is the length of data, and dimension names. Okay, for example, let's take, we have data da is equal to 1 to 12. Okay, now we all know that if we want to put that in a matrix, then we can go for 6, 2, 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, 6, likewise. Okay, but if I wanted to put it in an array where I expected 3-dimensional array, I can go for 3, put that data thing here, comma, dimensions, that dimension is equal to 2, 2, 3, 2, 2, 4, 4, 3 is equal to 12. So we got here. Look at the data. I should have kept the name there. Okay, m array. Look, m array thing here. First 2 observations, go for this 2, 2. So it will create array of 3 matrices actually of dimension 2, 2. Okay, that's it. We can go for arrays like this. We also have list thing there. I haven't mentioned in the slides, but we have the list. Okay, what we have done for the vector, we have used, suppose v is equal to the vector, then we go for c and write 1, 2, 3 thing. Okay, just keep that. Okay, what if I just wanted to put first is equal to the character, second is equal to number, and third is boolean type. In that case, I have to go for v is equal to, no, I will use w is equal to, go for list. Okay, list will not be bothered about the data type of that variable. It will store it as it is. Okay, look at this, print that. Okay, observe this, w first element is equal to 22, that's integer. Okay, if I will go ahead and find the data type of w, it will show at list. If sorry, why it's not showing, go ahead. For that accessing that element, we have to use double square bracket. Okay, it's 1, for 1 it's numeric, For 2 it's character, for 3 it's boolean type or logical type. Okay, so these are the list and array things which I haven't mentioned in the slides, but these are the important data types here. Okay, moving, so we have seen vectors, matrices, data frame, list and array thing. Operators, an operator is a symbol that tells the compiler to perform specific mathematical or logical manipulations. Our language is rich in built-in operators and provides following data types of operator. We have the following types of operators: arithmetic operator, that is plus, minus, multiply and divide things; relationship, less than, greater than, double equal to, not equal to; logical operator, both, if both statement are true, then and, or, not equal to, likewise; assignment operator, which we have already used, arrow, equal to, reverse arrow, likewise. Okay, before moving to the control structures, let me take an example. What is x? It's quite big. 4 comma 4 5 6, y is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 8, whatever. Now I can go ahead, z is equal to x plus y. It gives addition. Similarly, we can go for x into y. Let's see what it actually is. 4 into 1, 5 into 2 and 6 into 8. That's, it's performing element to element multiplication. What if 3.5 divided by 2? That's 1.75. What if I go for that percentage symbol? Sorry. Okay. It actually 3.5 divided percentage 2 provides actually remainder term, and 3.5 that modulo term. We can use 2 raised to 2 power raised to 3 raised to. After operators, we have control structures. Control structures are used to alter the flow of execution of the program. We have following type of operators and control structures in R. Mainly if statement, that is the conditional statement, if else statement. Um, in looping structure, we have repeat command, um, while loop, um, if else, and for loop command. Okay, these loops are essential for programming purposes. If else statement, let's have a demo for that. Suppose we have alpha is equal to point node 5, and we got the p value is equal to point node 35 or something like that. Okay, then obviously our conditions get results get if alpha is greater than p value, or we can say that if p val is less than alpha, we have to print that reject h node. So we will use this kind of condition, print reject h node. as p value is less than alpha, it's printing reject h naught. Okay, we can find, we can take help of this. If else, oh, they are already showing this condition. Okay, we haven't written else statement here. We can go ahead and write it here. Else, I will copy that part. We should say fail to reject h naught. As p value is greater than less than 0.05, it's rejecting h naught. Let's modify that p value 0.51, not 51. Okay, again, so it print failed to reject h naught. That is the cases. Okay, shift home. I'm going to copy this part and put it over here. We can also use else if statement. Else if statement is quite similar. If else bracket, now we have the condition if p val less than alpha comma, if this statement is true, then we have to write it as print reject h naught. Else failed to reject h naught. Sorry, control enter. Failed to reject h naught. Okay, so that is the simple cases. Let's move towards looping. Okay, suppose before moving to that looping part, suppose there is a case, if we wanted to print something, if a is less than 10 or a is greater than 20. Okay, in that case what we can do, we will put here if a is less than 10, or instead of or we can use, okay, and a greater than 20, then print, I will put it here something. Okay, something, whatever. No, what if a is equal to 5? Control n, that is the case. And if there is possibility that you wanted to verify that if a is less than 10 and b is greater than 20, suppose b is 25, like it. In that case we can go ahead, and change that or symbol into and, as we both wanted a should be greater than or, sorry, a should be less than or equal to 10 and b should be greater than or equal to 20. Okay, control n, these both the conditions. So here we can use that and for various conditions, and if both conditions should be satisfied, then use and. If any one of the conditions satisfies, then you are going to perform this activity, only then we have to use or operator. Okay, let's have some example for loop. Look at this. Variable in a vector and perform that activity. Okay, suppose my variable contain x is equal to put it as variable I in, put that vector is equal to, suppose 1 to up to 10, 1 to up to 10, and ask them to print I, whatever my I is, print I for I running from 1 to up to 10, print I, control N. Look at this side. So we have repeated the command print I for I in 1 to up to 10. That is the case. Okay, you can go ahead, put if else condition here. If that I is less than or equal to 5, only then print I. That may be the condition. Look at this, it prints 1 to up to 5 only. You can go ahead, use else if I is not less than or equal to 5, then I must be greater than or equal to 5. In that case, print 2 into I. You can put whatever condition you want. Look at the output, it shows 1 to up to 5, and for 6 to up to 10 it's showing 2 times of that ith element. Okay, uh, similarly we can go ahead and use while statement. While statement is quite similar. Okay, which shows 1 to up to condition. And okay, let's have some variable. Suppose x is equal to, put that I is equal to 0. Okay, and here is the condition. If I is less than 6, I is less than 6, then print I. But what will happen, every time the loop will perform as I is 0, every time it is less than 6, so it will again print 0 0 0 0 0 0 infinite number of times. Okay, so we can go ahead and increase I is equal to I plus 1. For the first iteration I is equal to 0, it will print 0. For the next iteration, before moving to next iteration, I will be added one element, I is equal to I plus 1. So it will be converted into I is equal to 1, then I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. But after I is equal to 5, it gets converted into 6, and as the condition is not satisfying, the program leaves this loop. Let's run this. I is equal to 0, and while I less than 6, print I. 0 1 2 3 4 5. While I is equal to 5, it becomes 6 here. I is equal to 6, and as this condition is not satisfied, it will not go ahead and it will break the loop.
In R, we have inbuilt functions. There are many inbuilt mathematical statistical functions available in R. To find the absolute value of some integer, some number, we have absolute ABS command. To find the logarithm of x with the base value as 10 or e or 2, we have log function. To find exponential of any term, we have exp. To find the square root of x, we have sqrt. To find the factorial of x, we have factorial command. To find the length of vector x or matrix or arrays, we have length command, or list, we have length command. We have many statistical functions related, such as mean, to find mean, standard deviation, variance, minimum, maximum, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile. Likewise, summary of x provides minimum, maximum, mean, and first and second quartile. Uh, we can create user defined functions in R. They are specific to what user wants, and once created, they can be used
like a built-in functions. An R function is created by using keyword function. That function is a keyword. The basic syntax of R function the definition is as follows. Function name, whatever that function name is, equal to function argument list and the function body. Let's take an example. Suppose we have to define a function f of x is equal to x square plus 3x plus 5. So we will write f, that's the function name, equal to keyword function argument, as it is one variable function, single variable function, we will put x here as an argument, and function body is equal to x square plus 3x plus 5. Now we have defined the function f. Now we can use it as a inbuilt function f of 2. F of 2 will x will be equal to 2, x square plus 3x plus 5 equal to 15. Let's take a demo. So instead of using one variable function, we will move for the two variable or three variable function. Suppose f1, I will name it as a function argument list x comma y, function body is equal to put that x square plus y square plus 3 into x. Okay, now use that function f argument list 2 comma 3 and run this. Control enter. So we got that x square 2 raised to 2 plus 3 raised to 2 plus 3 multiplied by 2, 19. So f1 is actually doing its job. You can define as many functions as you want. R packages are collection of R functions. Whatever functions we have defined earlier in last user defined function, if you have number of functions available and you have defined it, you can collect it and create a package of that functions compiled with code and sample data if required. So they are stored under directory called library in R environment. By default, R install a set of packages during installation. More packages are added later on when they are needed for some specific purpose. When we start our console, only the default packages are available by default. Other packages which are already installed have to be loaded explicitly to be used by our program that is going to use them. All the R packages available in R languages are listed in CRAN. Okay, this is the link.